I'm going to go on next to Georgina and Amar. And can I just ask for people, please, could you mute yourself if you're not the speaker? That's really helpful to us in terms of cutting out background noise. Thank you. So over to Georgina and Amar.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Can everybody hear us okay? So I'm Georgina, this is Amar, and we are the co-founders of SHAC-FindOthers, which, as Sue said, is the platform we're running the campaign on to end service charge abuse. So we met Sue's actually through a resident, a One Housing Group resident who we were initially talking to about cladding issues. And he sort of flagged this underlying issue of service charges. And then that sort of opened a can of worms for us, didn't it? And the more people we spoke to, it seems everyone has a horror story about service charges. And I've just seen Bob said in the comments, the landlords are using divide and conquer to silo residents. And it's very clear that a group action is needed to solve this issue. So our platform, SHAC-FindOthers, campaigns for any type of issue. It enables people to launch campaigns to find other people affected by the issue, so you can group together and take collective action. And on this case, we've decided to take an active role in this campaign because we have become very passionate about it as well, actually, because we've seen the horror stories that everyone's been telling us. And also, as I think Linda mentioned in the comments, there are regulators and ombudsmen, but it's very clear that they just aren't prepared to help on this problem. So the campaign is intended to group everyone together across all housing associations to force through legislative changes, to pressure the government to make legislative changes, and ideally bring in a regulator with powers that can uphold those changes and hold housing associations accountable. And as part of the campaign, we've developed a tool which makes it much easier for residents to do section 21 and 22 requests, which needs to come before you go to tribunal. So we have Ant on the line who can give a demo of that service charge, just so everyone can see it. But purpose of us being here today is really to encourage everybody to go online and support the campaign, add your name to it, tell us how you've been affected, and to use that tool if you need to. But I will hand over to Ant. If you don't mind making Ant a host, because I think you might need to do that so he can share his screen, if that's okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just sort of show you around what we have and how it works. And then what I'll do is I'll take you into the campaign, show you the tool that we have on offer, and just kind of walk you through what it's like to put an entry into it as well. So this is the SHAC-FindOthers website. When you land on SHAC-FindOthers, we explain to you what it is, how it works, what the benefits are of using it. We show you who should use it, why it's going to be beneficial, the fact that it's completely free for you to use as well. There are no charges for using the site or creating your own campaign. So again, you know, any issue that you're facing, if you think it affects other people as well, we encourage you to come on, start a campaign and start building a group of people that support that issue. We explain to you, you know, if you need to, you can get in touch with us. We can guide you through these processes. We talk to you about the path of finding justice and what's in front of you, just so people know what to expect. And we show you featured campaigns such as our End Service Charge Abuse campaign. And when you come to the homepage, actually, you'll see it right at the very top of the page as well. So if you go to findothers.com, it's there for you right at the top. So if we go to visit the campaign, and we can see some almost 420 of you have already supported that. So thank you ever so much. And if you haven't, all you need to do is tick the box to say, I support the campaign, and hit support. And if you've been personally affected by service charge abuse, you can tell us how you've been affected as well. And you can even do that anonymously if you just want to share your story. So on the page, if you come down a little bit, we can it tells you, you know, what we hope to achieve. It shows you who the campaign is aimed at, so who we're holding accountable here. It gives you some background on the campaign, all the information you need to know about what's happened so far and what we intend to happen. And we also produce regular updates as well. So if you need to know what's been going on since you last visited, you can go and have a look at the updates, and you'll get these into your inbox as well. So anytime there's new information about the campaign, we'll let you know about that first. So on the right-hand side, what we have is request a breakdown of your service charges using our free tool. So if we go to find out more, there's a whole page dedicated to this. So this explains specifically what the issue is. It explains to you what we're doing about the problem. And it also lays out for you the process that's in front of you as well. So if it shows you the first step is requesting that initial summary. The second step is to say, if you suspect that you've got incorrect charges once you've received that summary, then of course, there's another step for you to take. And if you still think that you've been overcharged or you've not had a response, then of course you can raise a formal complaint through this process as well. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible and put it all in one place. So what I'll do is I'll quickly have a look and go through requesting a service charge summary and just show you what that looks like. So there's an important disclaimer to read at the beginning. Do absolutely encourage you to give that a good thorough read, just to let you keep you understanding exactly what's going on here. And then once you accept that, the very first question it will ask you to do is to say, right, please select your housing association from the list. So I'm going to choose, I mean, just so you know as well, if you don't see your particular housing association on there, then of course you can use this option here to let us know, and we'll add that housing association to the list. So if we move down, I'm going to choose Clarion as an example, being one of the biggest offenders and biggest housing associations. It asks for the full name of the individual, so I'll just put John Smith in there for now. Apologies if there's a John Smith in the call, not targeting you or anything. This is not an example using your details. I can put my address details in there, so I can put the street, put in my area. Let's say I'm in London, and I put in my postcode. So let's say it's NW1, 1WN, and I fill in my address details. Now it says, is this the address you wish to have correspondence sent to by the housing association? So if they're going to reply to you in writing, where's that going to go? So we'll say, yes, it's the same address. Otherwise, we can provide an alternative one. And then it asks to please select your status in this matter. So are you a leaseholder of the property? Are you a tenant of the property? Or are you a secretary of the tenants association? Because you can apply for multiple summaries using this method as well. So we'll put in that we are the leaseholder, but of course, any of those options would be absolutely fine. And then it asks for the housing association's reference. So we'll just put reference 0011. Of course, you'll find those references on the correspondence that you get from the housing association, should you've had any, which you probably should have done, but may not have. So once you've filled in those details, very, very brief, you've told us who it's going to, your details, your address, and your status in your property. What we've then done is we've embedded those details into the specific legal document and all of the special legal language that needs to be sent off to the housing association, which basically says to them, you have a legal obligation to provide this information. Here is the law under which you have to comply. Here is the timescale that you have to reply within. And here's what we're going to do if you don't comply with that. So we're being very, very specific about what we want from them and what will happen if they don't fulfill their legal obligation. So once that's done, we can simply send that message off. That will then get sent off to the housing association. You will also receive a copy of that email as well into your inbox exactly as it's been sent to them. So you have proof that that's gone off. You know that that's been sent to them as well. And then we explain to you what happens next. So all that will happen next is we will wait the appropriate amount of time that they have been granted to deal with your request. And we'll check in with you after that period of time and say, right, what's happened? Have you had any progress? Have you had the response that you were waiting for? Now, if they haven't come back, you can let us know. We give you all of the means to be able to say, no, they've not replied. Or you can say they've replied, but they've asked for more time, or they've given me everything that I wanted, but we probably don't expect you to use that button very often. So what will happen is we will keep checking in with you at all of the specific intervals that are necessary so that we can make sure that we're following it up with the right guidance and the right advice about what to do next. So that will include, asking for specific breakdowns and receipts, and then going on to raising formal complaints as well. So I hope that's clear. So just coming onto the website, you can go straight to the homepage, straight up to the top to end service charge abuse. You can visit the campaign, support the campaign, and then you can go and use that tool to go and get that summary. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. I just want to mention a few extra things because I've just seen a few things in the chat as well. Quite a few questions about does this apply to the private sector? So at the moment, we are focusing just on housing associations, and that is because we believe that's potentially an easier way in, to convince the government to act on this issue. But we do hope and would campaign for any changes that benefit social housing, will also benefit the private sector. So it's really important that the private sector also unite behind us on this campaign. That tool is at the moment only available for people who do live in housing association properties, but depending on scope, we may look to open that up as well if demand is there to use it. I just wanted to go through as well what sort of the end goal of collecting all of this data is as well, because we are, even if you've done this process before and you've not had a response, we would encourage you to do it again through this tool, because then we are able to track those responses, and then we can hold those housing associations individually accountable for either not responding or responding with unhelpful information or vague information or even incorrect service charges. So please do fill that form in, even if you have been through it before. And last thing is a quick question, actually, and if everybody could just pop in the chat if they have been successful in this, is we're quite interested to know if anyone has been successful in getting their housing insurance to cover any legal fees in regards to questioning service charges. So if you have gone to tribunal, or if you have taken legal measures, has your housing insurance covered you for any of that? And I'll just please just respond to that in the chat if you have experience of that. Anything else?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's good. Thank you, Suze. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity. Please do send us any questions you have, either in the chat or separately. One thing, actually, that I think I may have forgotten to mention is how group action in a legal sense works. So if we go down the route and the government, well, they could introduce legislation or they might not, but separately we are also investigating whether there is a group legal action here that we could potentially pursue, and that could include people from separate housing associations. But we will release more information on that as and when, but just so everyone knows, we are seeking legal advice on positions in regards to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brilliant. And, you know, just such a brilliant platform that has been created. I mean, to have that one person who saw it described it as epic, and I think that probably lots of people would echo that, really, given how much work it takes for people to start composing all of that from scratch. So, and there is, as far as I know, no other facility really that is anywhere near as easy to use. You can sort of download a few templates, but the ability to just go in there and use this, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So, and I do want to thank our campaign partners, FindOthers, for all of their help and support that they've given us over the last few months, really. It's been brilliant working with you, and, you know, I think we will end up being able to change the law. I think you are kind of harnessing a lot of power by collating everybody's experiences and bringing everyone together. So that's absolutely brilliant.